Hello, hello. Yeah, thank you. Sorry to disturb. Yes. So supply chain management is this. So in first class, we discussed about what is supply chain management and what are its objectives and functions, and also what is reverse supply chain, right? So let us see value concept. Value chain identifies the linkage and data. Under this, the one more important topic in the first one is value chain concept. Value, okay. What is value actually? Value is created and captured. Cost of creating the value is equals to margin. That is, business often refers to customer value. Like we used to say customer value and added value. It's like, right. Nowadays, the firms are trying to get the maximum satisfaction and by to the customer by providing timely service or a product with a quality that are meeting the expected expectations of the customer. So a value that is created and captured by company is the profit margin, whatever the extent that they are able to capture the customer's value, and that itself brings the profits to the organization. So here, this is important. Value created and captured. How quality you are providing, how much you are able to reach the customer requirements. To that extent, you are creating, and if you are able to meet the customer's attention and the requirements satisfaction, then automatically that generates the profits to the organization, right? So, in this value chain and value delivery system, therein was is a set of activities an organization carries to create value for its customers. So, what is value? It's okay. It's only the quality. Is it only the quality? Is it only the service? No, it is a set of activities that an organization carries out to create value for its customers. So, in the value chain activities, that whatever performs, that itself determines the cost and effects of the profits. So, let us see the POTUS value chain. It's a useful. It is a very useful management, strategic management tool because it was breaking an organization activities into strategically relevant activities so that organization can uh, see its a full extent of a full capacity and what are the cost drivers, what are the sources, and how they are to be controlled and utilized respectively. What can be followed by the organization. So, elements of portals. It is an important topic in this Porter's value chain, and this it focuses on system. Okay, Porter's value chain focuses on system, how inputs are changed into outputs purchased by the consumer. So it's a system, how the inputs are changed into those outputs which are purchased by the customers. In this, there are certain activities: inbound logistics, operations, and outbound logistics, marketing and sales service. These are the activities which are related in the porter's value chain, and these how you organize and how you support, how each of these support each other in order to bring the value to the customers output depends, that the margin profit margin depends on that. And I'll repeat once again. According to the Porter's value chain, there are these are the components or activities commonly belong to all the businesses. Inbound logistics, that is collecting the materials, receiving, storing, and distributing the inputs, is relating to the inbound logistics. Operations and changing these inputs into the output as required by the customer. Then outbound logistics, again delivering your final products or services to your customers, like collection, storage, distribution, all these relating to the outbound logistics. Then marketing. What kind of marketing activities you'll take? How you pursue your customer in order to buy your products. Okay, standing apart from your customers is what relating to your marketing means pursuing the customer towards your products and making them buy. Yeah, how you communicate about them and how you pursue your customers is important. And finally, service after sales. It is not that you do it only when it is required. It is also means until you tell your product, even after the sales service, how you are connecting with your customers. All these are the activities which define the profit margin of the customer from the organization. How effectively you perform this, how coordinately you perform this, will tell about this. The next one is support activities. What are the support activities? Supporting activities are related to procurement, human resource management, means the departments that are involved in procuring the goods, raw materials, the purchasing departments, organizing resources, or how they operate. Then human resource management, this relating to how effectively you are taking, how efficient you are in acquiring your staff. Okay, and then technological development, how connected, how you like knowledge based system, how you are protecting your knowledge based system in processing the information, managing the information, and minimizing the information cost and staying along with the current trends is what your technological development. Infrastructure, that is the another support system of the organization, which allows the organization to see that its day-to-day activities are maintained, operations are maintained without any with hassle-free operations, without any interruptions due to legal aspects or administrative or general management aspects. So these all are support means procurement, how your purchasing departments involved in making purchases and you're contacting with the suppliers, maintaining good relations, and human resource management, how effective you are in recruiting your people, suitable and effective and efficient people for your works, and how effectively you are manage your process and regulate your cost by following the latest trends relating to the technology. Okay, and infrastructure, how good you are in make sure that your activities will flow without any effect due to any other reasons like accounting aspect, legal aspect, administrative aspect, general management aspect. So these are the various ways how an organization support activities will bring the value to the organization. They also take part in bringing value to the organization. Okay, so let us see this picture. The same has been explained in this. You can draw either this picture or this picture, which is value delivery system under the value chain. Okay, so that's about the value chain of supply chain management. The next one is optimizing in supply chain problems, complexity. These are not, but you can concentrate on this role of modeling. Okay, here it's given very modeling parameters according to the Gatorna. What are the parameters? Strategic direction, demand characteristics, supply chain characteristics, and these all are explained in very simple line, so easily you can all follow. Okay, this one is one of the important questions from this chapter. Let us move on to this next one, second chapter, that is supply chain structure. So in the supply chain structure, see what you're supposed to know, what are the important aspects. You must know what are the components of supply chain management and what is the structure of supply chain management, and then how the supply chain management process takes place. These are the three aspects which you are supposed to concentrate while learning the first block. You can expect these under the short answers as well as under long answers. So let us see our components of supply chain management. See here, this is the traditional supply chain structure. Suppliers will manufacture, then goes to wholesaler, then retailer, then customer. Raw materials will be supplied, manufacturer will collect, then convert them into finished goods that will reach the wholesaler, from wholesaler to retailer, retailer to the final customer. Then information flows in the opposite direction. Retailer collects the information, understand the needs and the requirements of the customer, pass on to the wholesaler, then to the manufacturer. Accordingly, manufacturer will see that our supply made available by the supplier. So let us see the components of the supply chain management. In a minute, okay. There are three components. Let us see what are those. First one is creating the supply chain network structure. Next, second one is developing supply chain business process. And finally, managing the supply chain activities as given by the Lambert and Cooper in 2000. Right? These are the three components of the supply chain management. When you are asked to explain a supply chain management component, you need to brief about these all, which is each of these, because you can expect this each question like how the supply chain network structure is formed and how do you create how the forms create supply chain network structure, or how the firms develop their supply chain business process. What is the supply chain business process? Explain. Or how to manage supply chain activities. Like that, you can expect three separate questions as a short answers and one single question under the long answer. So when you get this as under the long answer, you are supposed to brief this entire three parts. Supply chain network structure, so it consists of the what it consists. Network is what we all know. What is network? Network is a group of members or the links that you are connecting with the different people. So here, a form consists of member forms and the links between these forms. Say a manufacturer may be having a different forms in connection and the links with those forms, the suppliers as well as the distributing systems. The primary members of supply chain generally includes autonomous companies or strategic business unity. Okay, the units which add value to the customer requirement by producing the products. Okay, supporting members are who? Companies that simply provide resources, knowledge, utilities, or assets for the primary members. So whoever that is manufacturers, to take the manufacturer as the primary member, supporting members are the companies which provide the resources like suppliers and the knowledge or utilities or assets, suppliers of raw materials, suppliers of materials, assets, suppliers of software, suppliers of human resource. All this comes under the supporting members. Okay, so supporting companies trucks to the manufacturers and banks and lend money to retailers or companies. All right, let us see about this. Here you have the structure of the structural dimension of supply chain is three. One is horizontal structure, vertical structure, and third one is the company's horizontal position with the supply chain. So let us see what is horizontal structure. It relates to the number of tiers across the supply chain. We'll come across of this first tier, second tier. Okay, primary. Okay. Then like a network structure of bulk cement. See, horizontal structure means see bulk cement companies you have very few, right? You have very few, and they all will have from a network horizontally. All these relating to the cement companies, bulk cement companies comes under the horizontal structure. Raw materials are taken from the ground and combined other materials, and they will produce the cement for construction of the buildings. Vertical structure. Vertical structure is the number of suppliers or customers represented within the each tier. Okay. Vertical structure is a company may have a vertical structure. Right. Like from it flows, how the your materials move from one to other. So it is generally narrow. The third one is company's horizontal position within the supply chain. Company can be positioned near initial source of supply. So it is nearer to the customer, either to the initial source of supply or near to the ultimate customer. Somewhere in between these endpoints, the supply chain has to be positioned by the what to call positioned by the business unit. The second component of this business supply chain management is business processes. How the business process takes place. You see, the activities that produce specific output of value to the customers. Okay, what involves here? This is the stage where the actual output takes place, right? So the activities that are involved in producing the specific output to the customer and which gives value to the product. So the management function here it integrates its business process across its the supply chain. Generally, in many companies, traditional ways upstream, the downstream portions, like moving the goods from the supplier then to the wholesaler, retailer. But now the relationship uh, supply chain management is different. Customer service management, demand management, order fulfillment, manufacturing flow management, procurement, product development, commercialization, all these are related to each other. All this comes under the business process. How effectively you organize these all competitive in the competitive market, how effectively you integrate these all processes with your supply chain process is what makes from product value, generate the value to its product and generate value, customer value. The next one is managing the supply chain activities. So, and how do they manage these activities? Yes. Integration. The first one is structure is the what you call it's a network structure where you may maintain a horizontal structure, a vertical structure, or positioning your position in between the manufacturer, the supplier, and the consumer. The second thing is business process. In bringing the various activities that involved in the production of a specific output that gives value to the customer's needs, bringing all those activities into integrating all those activities. Finally, managing how you manage this is important, right? So regarding this supply chain management means what are some companies manage emphasis on functional structure. Some people will emphasize after integrating of this, they emphasize on the functional structure. Some emphasize on the process structure, and some will go with the both. Okay, process and functions, right? So, number of business processes that is critical and beneficial to integrate the managing between companies. So, will different. Okay, differs how you manage, you process, your process and functions are you process based and function based structure you follow. That how much benefit it gives by integrating, and this differs from organization to organization. Okay, right. Traditional push to the modern pull model, supply chain management has changed the integration of e-commerce and produced a greater cost efficiency. So finally, see how it can manage the cost efficiently and distribute, make a distribution system flexible and provide a better customer service and able how better it can able to track and monitor its shipments. This is what involves the supply chain management activities. So it is by integrating all those activities, it's horizontal or vertical or combination of the structures. Try to manage, minimizing its cost and making its distribution system flexible and providing better customer service and also making able to makes ensure that it will able to track and monitor its shipments so that only it can able to provide a better customer service. Got understood. So when you asked about the supply chain management structure, is that right? Components. We are supposed to write about these three in brief. Now let us see the in detail about the supply chain management structures. Okay. This is another important topic in your examination, and you can easily write about these supply chain structures. So there are different structures. One is see here. Number of stages and the structures of the raw material, information flow, all these contribute to the complexity of this chain. So the structure can be classified as dyadic, serial, convergent, divergent, can join, and network. So let us understand this. Here it is given in very simple. You need not to repeat every sentence. It simply give the subheading, remember these titles, headings, and write what exactly it is. What is dyadic? It's the two business entities. A dyadic kind of structure consists of two business entities, that is buyer and vendor. We got, if you recall your distribution channel, it's a simple kind of small tips like to remember easily. So dyadic structure, it is involves direct like a buyer and vendor. That's it. Only two in this structure. The next one is serial structure. A serial structure is a kind of a traditional structure where it involves a retailer, distributor, wholesaler, manufacturer, entities or stages, right? A manufacturer, wholesaler, retailer, final consumer. That is called serial structure. The next one is convergent structure. What does it mean? Convergent, the picture itself only saying, see, which each node, which facility in the chain has one successor or two successors, right? May have one successor or two predecessors. See here, each one have a one successor. And if you see this successor, he has a two predecessors, right? So number of two or more predecessors may be having. See here, so this is convergent structure, means where each facility may be having one successor or having two or more predecessors, right? Divergent, see this in a reverse way, divergent structure. Has most one predecessor but any number of successors. One predecessor but any number of successors. Here, it starts with the only one supplier. You may be having a different distributor. Again, these distributors having a so many other distributors or retailers. That is divergent. Then, if you see co-joint structure and network general, it can be from it, the facilities flow from any angle to any direction. So, co-joint, it is a combination of convergent and divergent. Means many, here, if you see the picture, many successors, many predecessors. Here, he is having one successor and they is having two predecessors. If you look into this, two predecessors and many predecessors and many successors. So that is co-joint, a combination of convergent, divergent. Network one is the one where no specific structure, no specific category of network. It is a general, a complex structure where every angle, every direction, the supply chain is connected with. Okay, so you can write this very easily. Okay, now let us see the next one. The same, whatever we discussed now, the same has been again given in a very detailed way. See, dyadic structure, supplier and manufacturer only, and serial structure, it's a form of like a chain that we usually familiar with the distribution network, that kind of chain, right? And the next one is convergent, many suppliers, predecessors, but one successor. In divergent, many predecessor, one successor, right? Whatever picture explains very clearly. You can draw these pictures explaining the concept in a simple phrasal words, and you can surely score good marks. Let us see the next one is supply chain organization structures. That what we saw just now is the supply chain management structure. Okay, and this is a supply chain organization structure. Supply chain organization structure. Again, its a structure consists of the root organization, default organization, supply chain management organization, supplier hub organization, asset store organizations. Whatever the various organizations involved in this supply chain, all these will come under the root organization and default organization, supply chain management, supply chain hub, asset store, supplier organizations like ABC, supplier organization. Let us understand the same thing with this help of this root organization. default organization, and site administrator. These will move on to the buyer. Either this root organization will move on directly to the buyer organization or supplier organization or supply chain management organization. All three at a time also, right? So buyer organization is directly a buyers connecting with the buyer. If it is a supplier organization is connecting, it again goes on to the supplier A, supplier B. Okay, so B2B context. Supply chain management organization means whatever the management in the organization, within the organization, whatever the different activities are there, the hub, supply year hub organizations and asset store organizations. So let us understand uh, organization, the business become descender, the root organization, and default organization is nothing but the default organization. Supply chain management organization means whatever created own all of supply chain related to the organization. So this is another important topic. Easily relating this explanation with the provided diagram, you can easily write about this topic. Hub organizer, supplier hub organization means what? You will have your own hub, like with different functions performing in giving a value to your the input to the value or an output, whatever are involved. Asset store organization is related to own all assets that are used to create stores for suppliers. So whatever the assets you are using and creating the assets. Next one is supplier organization, that is own all of this. I myself is having a different suppliers. So what are the, in this chain? What are the different organizations, suppliers I have? I will maintain a chain. Child organization is created for each supplier. Supplier organization ABC means it is like in the organization, an organization may consist of different number of suppliers, different activities, different have activities to be managed, assets are to be stored. So all these, how these are handled under the organizational structure is what we're learning here. So a manufacturer who's having different suppliers, these are to be handled effectively again. So in order to handle, there involves supplier organization hub through which these or suppliers will be contacted and information, contact, all this passes on without any hindrance or difficulty. Right? Got it? The buyer organization, that is your when their own organization under the root. Okay, all buyers are owned by the corresponding buyer organizations. So you may be having different organizations and different buyer organizations through whom you are reaching your customers. So, on different aspects, whatever the organization is supposed to handle and manage, all these will be for everything there involves a separate organization through which a complex organization structure through which an root organization makes sure it provides services effectively or provide a value added product to its customers, right? Now let us see. I hope I made you understand. And please read thoroughly while understanding the picture. So really will score full marks for this. The next one is supply chain management process. It is again, it was planning the strategy or finding the sources and then concentrating or focusing on the production activities, minimizing the cost and maximizing the optimal utilization of resources in order to maximize the profit. And then looking at the delivery and logistics for distribution of your goods or the final products. Then after sales service, whatever the return system, how to handle your return system. This is all what the supply chain process involves. About each of them itself are explained here in a little detail. The next one is supply chain integration. Yes, this is another important topic for your examination. You can expect this supply chain integration topic as a long answer as well as the short answer. I'm sorry. Yeah. So what is supply chain integration? So like a process where all the parties involved in this uh, chain are integrated in order to provide a single system. Okay, uh, all the parties in this chain who are involved will integrate in as a single system in order to provide a final product, a value-added product to the customer. So this integration, it's not that easy, because in this integration you should make sure coordination, alignment of your order to ensure everyone is effectively working towards the same goal. This is important. So you can write these two lines in your answer. The required integration requires significant coordination among these all parties involved. At the same time, aligning uh, their orders effectively in order to ensure that all of their goals are achieved. It's not that one is achieving and the other is losing. Whoever the parties involved, all of them should coordinate, so that then only they'll able to work effectively and can reach the common goal at a time, every time, right? So let us see about, sorry, or something went wrong. Sorry. What happened? Sorry. So let us see about this supply chain integration. Under that, in the integration question, you can expect in the examination as a long answer as well as a short answer. As I mentioned, when you get a long answer, you need to elaborate each of them. And when you get a short answer, you are supposed to make sure that from the question perspective, you are covering all the important points required to give the concise answer. Right. Uh, so this integration, supply chain integration. Um, See here, baseline, the Graham C. Stevens four-stage integration model. Okay, you may ask the question also. So Graham C. Stevens, what is the four-stage? They will not may not mention also these four stages. Graham C. Stevens integration model of supply chain explained. Then what are the four stages? Baseline, okay, and functional integration, internal integration, external integration. What is the baseline? It's a department that is in the same company which manage supply chain issues has to be managed separately. Function like what we call each function works on its own, because at the baseline different functions whatever are there, they are supposed to work on their own objectives while coordinating with the each other. Okay, then functional integration, each department in the same company works together to reduce the cost. See, each department in the same company manager supply chain issues separately. So here baseline is what? Department. Each department, every department will have a one manager in order to take handle the supply chain issues separately. Okay, so he will work on his own functions. So the next one is functional integration means what? Each department. So remember, in every department there is this one supply chain manager in order to take care of the supply chain activities separately. And functional integration was each department has to work for the company goal. So that coordination, then only they can reduce the cost. Internal integration. Once the functional integration over, means introducing the, so what is the raw material, what is the actual demand, what quantity of raw material to be produced, how much to be produced, what how much funds to be released. All this is between the integration between the functional departments. Now, internal integration, what each department now concentrate connected with the same IT infrastructure to increase efficiency. The stage, the corporate silo. That is, corporate silo is what? Each company works on its own agenda. So every company will have every internal integration means after interdepartmental connections, IT infrastructure to the IT infrastructure, increasing the efficiency. The different companies work together on a common agent on their own agendas. External so every company, say for example, the same investment company, every company will have different departments. ABC companies, A company will have different departments. Under in every department, there exists one supply chain, what you call a manager to take care of the supply chain issues. And all these departments in the A company will work together with a functional integration towards the common objective. And like that, whatever the what you call in this integration, whatever the different companies involved, each company work towards their own agenda first. Then each company in the same chain will join their hands, work together in order to achieve the same goal, so that they can satisfy the customer and provide a suitable products as required by the customer. Right? I hope the next one is it's an integration involves communication between a buyer and the seller. So the objective is to establish ongoing working relationships so that buyers' needs are better known and understood by the supplier. The very purpose of this integration is this. Okay. Mhm. Now let us see supply chain integration in practice, how it takes place. Elements of supply chain integration, technology project, release, workers, and that is enough. Whatever it's not a technology-related project which goes segment customers and anticipate changing needs, identify the customers based on their segment, and accept the changing needs. Accordingly, relocate your workers who performs the best, and then move on to the activity that more and best work activities. Entire process should operate within the one database, and then trading partners should agree on same metrics for the comparison or the quantity or the area or price aspect, whatever. Encourage face-to-face contact. So now let us see the supply chain integration barriers. So supply chain integration, whatever I said, four there, those four you prepare along with the picture, you can present your answer. After that, this is another important one. What are the barriers? So simply explain these barriers. After the barriers, challenges and advantages and disadvantages. These are given in a very simple terms. I hope you don't need much explanation of this, right? Mm, now let us see about the next topic of our today's class. See here, supply chain structure, chain integration, components of supply chain, then integration, then in the external. And you please, as I mentioned, just go through these barriers and advantages and disadvantages of supply chain integration. So, sir, explain in very simple terms. Let us move on to the next topic, supply chain planning. Yes. What is supply chain planning exactly? Okay. What it involves? In planning? What is the planning process actually? What are the issues that arise while planning the supply chain? And let us see and understand about this. What is supply chain planning and the process and issues, understanding levels of supply chain? Let us understand about these. Um, excuse me. See here, meaning of supply chain planning. Supply chain planning should be done according to the demand and supply view. See, it's a planning. Actually, we come across of this planning also in the management subject. So it involves. Why do we need a planning? Because the supply here itself when you see organizations. What we are saying, these organizations, the previous topic if you see, are formed as an integration because in order to provide a product that meet the customer expectations and bring maximum satisfaction to the customer, so that they can make a profits, right? So this will be possible only with a plan, right? What is the demand in the market actually, and how these to meet this demand, what are the sources available, how they are to be procured, and and converting this input into output and delivering these output to the customer. This is all you need to have the planning. Then only with the planning only you will able to mm, create a value to your product and value among the customers, right? So first you need to understand the customer demand by market research. Then second thing is consider the awareness and update information about the competitors strategies used by them. So in this again, it's not only procuring, you need to know, you need to update your information relating to your customer, your competitor, and the strategies that are used by them in order to satisfy the customer needs. So if you know how your competitor is playing and what is your customer demand, with this information together, you will able to you are supposed to plan your approach, right? So different market, different demand, and different approaches are required. And let us understand. So the supply chain planning is an effort to achieve the primary goal. What is the primary goal? Uh, Producing and distributing the merchandise at the right quantity to the right location and the right time with minimum system with right cost in the presence of conflicting goals of various business units. So different businesses are there, they are having a very different goals. So among all these different goals, the primary goal of any supply chain planning is make sure that you produce and distribute your output at the right quantity. Over or less, both are effect shows impact on the company's success. Okay, and the next in the right location. You cannot, okay, right location. You are supposed to find the right location. With wrong customers, if you supply again, it will be difficult. You will face the issues and challenges. Okay, and right time. See, after the season, if you produce see, this is a winter season, and in the winter season, you are supposed to produce woolen sweaters and all, which comfortable, right? If you provide them after the season, what's the use? The peak winter season is over, and you are trying to. Or if you are trying to sell your ACs now, will you able to? No. So in a right time. So when you are able to produce and distribute your output at the right quantity in the right location at the right time, automatically this leads to minimizing the entire system-wide cost. That's the thing every businessman, those who are into supply chain must know before getting into understanding the other goals of the organization. Okay, so supply chain planning includes decisions regarding which markets goods are to be supplied, output has to be supplied, from which locations, and the subcontracting for manufacturing if required, and the inventory policy to be followed, like how the inventory to be maintained. Okay, and the timing and size of the market promotions, when the market has to be promoted and what size to be spent, how much to be spent, all these. Okay, so if you write these two when you get a question on supply chain planning, that's a beginning. I said there's something relating to the supply chain management. So planning, supply chain planning should be done according to the demand supply view, right? In order to why? In order to understand customer demands, market research has to be done. The second thing is that consider awareness and updated information about the competitors and strategies to be used by them in order to satisfy your sorry, what are the strategies and information they are using to satisfy their customers. Based on that, you will be able to. So these two lines, if you write, I'm sure, I'm telling you, guaranteed that you will score full marks. Now let us move on to the supply chain planning process. I'm sorry, in flow, sometimes my words are skipping and wrong. Okay. So supply chain planning process. It's a forward-looking process of coordinating efforts to optimize the delivery of goods, services, information from supplier customer, balancing supply and demand. So don't write the figure. Okay, right? So what is supply chain process? It's a forward-looking process of what? Of coordinating the assets. Why to coordinate the assets? To optimize the delivery of goods, services, and information from who? From the uh, customers, from suppliers to customers, and balancing the supply and demand. So while planning, they look forward. It is not about, okay, they look forward about coordinate, how to coordinate your assets in making sure that you deliver, means your good optimize the delivery of goods, is the optimum utilization of assets in delivering the goods or your services, and also information about the availability of the goods or services from the supplier to your customer, so that you'll be able to balance the supply and demand. Say, for example, you did the market research, you understood the customer demand, but you are not able to communicate this to your customer, so there will be no use, right? You know everything, but if you don't do it in a on time, timing is not followed, then also, and you understood the customer demand, but you fail in coordinating your assets and optimizing your goods or services delivery, then you will fail. So it involves a forward process in coordinating the assets to optimize the delivery of goods, services, and information from the suppliers to the customer, so that enables the organization balancing the supply and demand. This is the important line which you are supposed to start with in your answer when you get a question on supply chain process, right? So next one is an supply chain planning tools is on top of transaction system of provide planning what your analysis capabilities and real time demand commitments considering the constraints, right? So let us see. Yes, this picture again you can present in supply chain planning process. The same will be explained with the help of these points as to be explained. You need not to draw all this. Just simply you can write about these in the circles or in the boxes. Okay, don't waste your time in drawing it. I said to use this picture in explaining your supply chain planning process, and that doesn't mean you replicate the picture. Simply you can mention whatever is given here in the circled diagram with the names. Now let us see supply chain planning, supply planning, and then production planning, demand planning. You need to first plan what to supply and what is the demand and how to procure the required materials. Okay. What are your financial aspects, objectives of the organization? Then accordingly, you need to plan the supply. Then production planning. Then what are the production and manufacturing modules within the company, and how to then consider the allocation of employees, materials, and production capacity. How many employees are required? How many materials to be used required? And what is the organization production capacity? All this to be considered while planning the production. Then demand planning is the process of forecasting the demand. By the time make sure that your product really delivered. Okay, effective demand planning can improve accuracy of revenue forecast. Okay, you can able to align your inventory levels according to the demand fluctuations. Okay, so that the organization will be profitable even in a tough market. The next one is sales and operational planning. Is monthly integrated business management. So leadership empowers leadership to focus on key supply chain drivers, including sales, marketing, and it is okay. How to market and how to manage your inventory, new product introduction, if anything like that, all these are also supposed to be planned. So these points, if you explain with the help of diagram and conclude your answer with this learning, the emerging technologies, these all made it possible with the latest technologies like blockchain, artificial intelligence, machine learning. Okay, these all generate your massive information of supply chain management and convert it into a proper, provide you with a proper structure and planning. Okay. so that organizations can overcome their different difficulties and maximum their benefits. So this, with these lines, you can conclude your answers. So let us move on to the next topic: issues in supply chain planning. Yes, there are some certain issues involved in planning, having a planning for the supply chain. Okay, where from producing, delivering a product or service from suppliers to the customers. Okay, all the activities, the functions, facilities involved in producing, delivering product or service from suppliers to the customers, they involve certain, so there's a chain involved. So in between this chain, there involves certain, all these people, try to maximize their profits, customer value, by optimum utilization of available resources, right? But coordination, as I mentioned, under the integration, coordination among these all activities is the major issue. How effectively you coordinate with each other and align each of their activities, their common goals and their individual goals with the common goals is most important here. They realize, so this is the major issue in the supply chain management. So in that process, this may face certain problems. So these all, what are the problems? Again, they are explained in a very simple terms. You can go through this. Surely you can expect this under the short answers. What are the challenges or issues in supply chain planning? The next one is coordination in the supply chain. How those challenges can be overcome. So, aims at improving supply chain performance by aligning the plans and objectives of individual enterprises. Then coordinating means coordinating their actions by various agents in the supply chain in order to increase their supply chain profits. Okay, and then to make improvements, it is very important for every organization to increase the coordination across the firms, within the firms also. Okay, various ways to increase cross-functional teams, partnerships with customers, suppliers, better information system, flatter organization structure, and so on. These all are the various ways where a firm can bring the coordination and can overcome those planning issues. So with the coordination, a good coordination among these all, like production, marketing, purchasing, selling, and the customer activities, very important, that brings the interrelationships and also um, enables to utilize each of their activities effectively, optimum utilization, better results. So this you can write, these are given very simple term. So don't need to write all this. Take the few important points from the given information and write. Next, see, link it is. Supply chain planning, we have seen what are the steps involves, process. Then after that, issues you have seen, and then coordination, how those issues can be overcome with the coordination. And in coordination, again, what are the obstacles? See, one after the other is linked. Okay, these points you can get in a short answers. So incentive obstacles, information processing obstacles, operational obstacles, pricing obstacles, behavioral obstacles. Yes, coordination. Coordination is just when incentives are offered to different stages participants in supply chain. This, whoever the participants involved in the supply chain, right from the supplier, manufacturer, wholesaler, retailer, customer, among in this chain, in this process, different stages, for these different participants, how you offer the incentives that also leads to variability and reduce the total profits. Okay, like for your distributors, if you don't give the proper commissions and all, very effective working, uh, without understanding their importance to connect with the customers, they may not cooperate with you, right? So the incentives that you offer this chain, in this chain, the incentives that you offer to your the participants shows impact on the coordination. The next, local optimization with functions or stages of supply chain. Yes, Local impact of an action result in decision that not maximize the source supply. So the compensation of transportation manager at a firm is linked to the average transportation cost per unit. Uh, uh, yes. So the manager is likely to take actions that lower transportation cost, even if they increase the inventory cost or hurt customer service. So this local optimization with functions or stages of supply chain is also important. Okay. And then any participant in supply chain take actions that optimize the performance. And with this, okay. And then sales force incentives. Again, how you provide the incentives to your sales force. The next, information processing articles. Under the information processing articles, how forecasting based on the orders, not customer demand. See, here information processing. If the proper information is processed, then that will be result into a wrong perception of order and the demand, customer demand. What is the customer demand and what are the orders to be? Generally, not on the customer demand, but it has to be focused based on the orders. If you do, you will go to the losses. Lack of information sharing. The information is not shared properly. That again leads to misunderstanding and um, like yes, leads to a large fluctuations in the manufacturing orders. The next one is operational obstacles. Operational obstacles means ordering in large lots. Since some large lots may occur if the supplier offers quantity discounts based on the lot size. If the supplier is giving the discounts based on the lot size, and if you are giving a large lot, that may problem. Large replenishment lead times, like the lead time between the stages is long. Again, this will be a problem. That there is a situation. Okay, demand may grow or may fall. The communication between the retailer and the main person may get lost. So lead times are if large lead times, proper information is not provided, then it goes to large lead times between the stages or the participants. Then that may be a problem. Rationalizing the shortage gaming. Sorry, rationing and shortage game. Yes, this is again we will often used to see either they generously will supply or sometimes create a shortage of the availability of goods. This again lead to problems, right? So obstacles. The next one is pricing obstacles. Yes, lot size based quantity discounts. Okay, price means these are the obstacles which interrupt the coordination among the various parties involved in the what you call various parties involved in various parties involved in what you call supply chain, right? Behavioral obstacles. The next one is understanding levels of supply chain. Yes, this is the supply chain continuum. Just if you understand, you can write it strategic, tactical, operational, and at every level, all these three will be there procurement stage, manufacturing stage, distribution, and logistics. Okay. And the next one here is tactical. About each of them are explained here. It's a long answer question that depends operational obstacles. Are the individual ones you learn and simplify it while writing for the long answers. Now let's move on to the next one. Yes. In this unit, network design decisions, supply chain distribution network, understanding the role of the network design, then factors. See, factors influencing and is important, and the benefits of supply chain network design is important. See, let's see role of network design. In supply chain. It's a simple, direct question, direct points. You can easily write. After that, what are the factors that influence the network design decision? Means while taking the designing of a network, what factors has to be considered and what is their importance. This is also straight a simple answer. We can write directly, easy way. Framework for network design decisions. This you can skip or long answer you can expect. Facility location, capacity allocation, network optimization models. Here, this you need not to expect. Means if it is given, simple. You need not to write all these formulas and all these explanations. Simply mention what it is, what is that model about, and what it considers. Okay, that's about. The next one is design options for network models and supply chain distribution in transit merge network. Yeah, as for myself, the first three chapters are more important. In here, in this, making network design decision in practice. The issues, benefits. These two you can concentrate. What is distribution network and what is distribution network? The factors that what are the factors that influence, and then the last one, that is benefits of supply chain network design. So if you concentrate on this, that's enough. Okay, hope I thank you for today. And next week, next class, we will be coming with the next second block on the supply chain management. Thank you.
Thanks, ma'am. Hi, ma'am. One question here.
Yes.
We could see on the website the last date of our exam registration is mentioned as today's date, and till now we didn't completed our classes and well as the assignments, and exam is scheduled in the month of Jan 20. Is it going to happen or it will
Mm,
be get
but
postponed
actually, they may
exams?
check into that. They will make sure that only the classes will be completed first. Uh, on which date you have been given?
20th Jan 2026.
20 Jan. So obviously, your class is still going. Uh, then the classes will not get over also. Obviously, there may be a probability of postponing the date, but please confirm this once with the student support department of the university.
You will consult with the university. Okay, ma'am, yeah. We'll have a
Right.
look. Thanks for
Yeah.
the information.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks for today's session, ma'am.
Yeah, that's end for today's session. We'll meet tomorrow again. It's same time.
Okay, logistic management system, second part.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.